Taylor Swift has a way of turning ordinary moments into extraordinary ones. But when she invited a fan to her house, no one could have predicted what would happen next. This once-in-a-lifetime moment became a story that will leave you in tears. Lila James sat on the edge of her bed, bathed in the soft glow of her laptop screen. Her inbox was a predictable sea of mundane emails, work updates, subscription offers, and spam, but then, one subject line stopped her cold. "You've been selected, a special opportunity from Taylor Nation." Her hands froze over the keyboard. Was this real? She leaned closer, her heart pounding, to verify the sender. It wasn't a scam. Her heart raced as she clicked on the email, her pulse quickening with each passing second. The message was short, but it might as well have been written in gold. "Congratulations, Lila. You've been chosen for an exclusive opportunity to be part of something truly special. Save the date and details to follow. This is an experience you won't want to miss." Her breath caught. This couldn't be happening. Out of millions of Taylor Swift fans around the world, she had been chosen. The artist whose music had carried her through every heartbreak, triumph, and quiet moment in between. And now, she was being invited to something extraordinary. Her mind raced with possibilities as she grabbed her phone to share the news with Mia. Lila quickly texted her best friend, attaching a screenshot of the email. "Mia, am I dreaming? Look at this." Lila texted, her fingers trembling. "OMG, is this real? I'm screaming." Mia replied almost instantly. For days, Lila was a bundle of nervous energy. She reread the email so many times, she could practically recite it word for word. The possibilities spiraled in her mind. What was this event? Could it be a secret session? Would Taylor actually be there? She barely slept, her excitement pulling her into an endless daydream. Her parents, though supportive, didn't fully grasp the gravity of the moment. "It's like meeting the Queen," she exclaimed one night at dinner, exasperated by their bemused expressions. Her dad chuckled. "Well, just don't faint when you meet her." She laughed, but the nerves were very real. Finally, the day arrived. The email had been updated the night before with instructions, a meeting point in Nashville, Tennessee. No further details, no hints about what lay ahead. Lila barely slept that night, her heart pounding as she packed a small bag, preparing for what felt like a dream. When she arrived at the meeting point, her breath caught. A small group of fans stood together, each clutching their invitations, with a mix of disbelief and excitement. The air seemed to crackle with anticipation, and every face carried the same question: what's happening? Lila exchanged tentative smiles with the group, her heart swelling with a sense of belonging. She didn't know what awaited them, but deep down, she was sure of one thing: this was the start of something unforgettable. Lila sat in the back seat of the black SUV that Taylor Nation had arranged, gripping her phone tightly, as the vehicle weaved through the quiet streets of Nashville. The email had specified that transportation would be provided, from the meeting point to a private location, and that secrecy was of the utmost importance. She had signed a non-disclosure agreement at the pickup spot, alongside the small group of other fans who had been selected. The atmosphere in the car was heavy with nervous energy. No one spoke much, they exchanged fleeting glances, each lost in their own swirling thoughts. The car pulled up in front of a gated property, and Lila's breath caught. The gates opened slowly, revealing a long, winding driveway lined with trees. Her stomach flipped as she caught glimpses of a beautiful house at the end, its warm lights glowing like a beacon in the soft evening light. "This is it," one of the staff members said gently, turning back to face the group. "When you enter, please follow the instructions you're given and enjoy the experience. And remember, no phones, no cameras, no recording devices of any kind." As they stepped out of the car, Lila felt like she had stepped into another world. The air was crisp, carrying the faint scent of magnolias. Inside, the group was greeted by more members of Taylor's team, who handed them envelopes with their names on them. "You're going to have an incredible evening," one staffer said with a warm smile. "Please head to the living room." Lila's hands shook as she opened her envelope, revealing a handwritten note: "Welcome to my home. Thank you for being part of this journey with me. Tonight is about celebrating the music and the stories that brought us all together." Lila's chest tightened. Was this really happening? A hush fell over the room as one of Taylor's team members stepped in. "Thank you all for coming tonight," he began. "Taylor is so excited to share something very special with you. She'll be here shortly, but in the meantime, please make yourselves comfortable." Lila's heart skipped a beat. She's going to be here? Her mind raced with the implications. The shy girl who had spent hours listening to her songs on repeat in her bedroom was about to meet the woman who had written the soundtrack to her life. But before she could spiral too far into self-doubt, a soft voice broke the quiet. "Thank you all for being here tonight." Lila looked up, her breath catching in her throat. Standing in the doorway, wearing an oversized sweater and a radiant smile, was Taylor Swift herself. The room seemed to hold its collective breath as Taylor stepped inside, her presence instantly filling the space with warmth and energy. She looked around at the group of fans, her eyes sparkling with gratitude and excitement. "You have no idea how much this means to me," she said, her voice soft but steady. "Tonight, we're celebrating stories and the music that connects us all." As Taylor began to speak, the fans leaned forward, hanging onto every word. She thanked them for their unwavering support, explaining that moments like this were her way of giving back to the people who had made her journey possible. "Each of you was chosen for a reason," she said, her gaze sweeping the room. "Whether it was something you shared online, a story someone sent in about you, or just the way your passion for the music shines through, we saw you. And we knew you had to be here." Then came the moment that no one had expected. Taylor reached into a small box on the table and pulled out an envelope. "Inside this is something special," she said, smiling mischievously. "Something I've been working on for a long time. And tonight, you're the first people in the world to see it." She handed the envelope to a fan, sitting nearest to her, and he opened it with trembling hands. Inside was a glossy photograph of an unreleased album cover. Gasps filled the room as Taylor explained, "This is my next album. Tonight, you'll hear it before anyone else." The weight of her words hung in the air. The room erupted into quiet murmurs of disbelief and awe, the realization sinking in that they were part of something truly historic. Taylor took her seat in the center of the room, the unreleased album now displayed on the table, in front of her. "Before we start," she said, her tone steady but gentle, "I just want to remind you that this space is safe and sacred. What we share here stays here. It's about the music, the stories, and the connections we've built together." As the first track began to play, the room was filled with the raw, unfiltered emotion of Taylor's voice. Lila closed her eyes, letting the music wash over her. Every note, every word, felt like a piece of Taylor's soul, shared openly with them. By the time the final track ended, there wasn't a dry eye in the room. Taylor looked around, her own eyes misty. "That was my heart on a platter," she said with a shaky laugh. "Thank you for being here, to share it with me." The room felt alive, in a way that words could barely capture. As the music faded, the fans clapped softly, some wiping away tears, while others exchanged looks of disbelief. Taylor smiled, visibly moved by the response. "You know," she began, her voice gentle, "every song in this album comes from a place of truth. I wrote these songs, hoping they'd find someone who needed to hear them. And looking around this room, I feel like they've found their home." The evening continued with laughter, tears, and heartfelt exchanges. Fans opened up about their struggles, their triumphs, and how Taylor's music had been a soundtrack to their lives. Taylor listened intently to each story, her empathy palpable, her words of encouragement genuine. She wasn't just a musician in that room, she was a friend, a confidant, someone who truly cared. As the session wrapped up, Taylor hugged each fan goodbye, handing them a small keepsake, a handwritten lyric from the new album, personalized for each attendee. When Lila unfolded hers, she found a simple but powerful line, "The hardest battles are fought by the strongest hearts." Lila clutched the note to her chest, knowing that this night would stay with her forever. It wasn't just a secret session, it was a life-changing experience. If this story moved you, consider supporting us. Your contribution helps us continue creating heartfelt stories like this. The link is in the description below. buymeacoffee.com/trendytalks. Thank you for being part of our journey.